Since the dawn of human consciousness, we've gazed at the stars and wondered, are we truly alone in this vast cosmos? Among all celestial bodies, one has captured our imagination more than any other, the red planet, Mars. For centuries, Mars has tantalized us with possibilities. Early astronomers saw what they believed were canals, sparking dreams of Martian civilizations. While those fantasies faded as our technology improved, a more profound question emerged: could life have once existed on Mars? Today, we stand at the threshold of potentially answering this ancient question. This is the story of humanity's most ambitious attempt to find evidence of life beyond Earth, through the eyes of a remarkable robotic explorer that traveled 300 million miles to search for answers in the rocks of an ancient Martian lake. On July 30, 2020, during a rare celestial alignment that occurs only every 26 months, a powerful Atlas V rocket thundered to life at Cape Canaveral. Aboard was humanity's most sophisticated robotic geologist, a car-sized rover designed to search for signs of ancient microbial life on Mars. The timing was critical. Earth and Mars were positioned for optimal travel efficiency, creating a launch window that space agencies worldwide seized upon. 3 nations launched Mars missions within weeks of each other, marking 2020 as the year of Mars exploration. For 7 months, the spacecraft cruised through the void of space, covering over 290 million miles. During this interplanetary journey, engineers continuously monitored the rover's systems, ensuring every component remained ready for the challenges ahead. Mission fact: the journey to Mars took 203 days, with the spacecraft traveling at speeds of up to 24,600 miles per hour relative to the Sun. February 18, 2021. After months of silent travel, the moment of truth arrived. Landing on Mars is one of the most challenging feats in space exploration, a sequence so dangerous that engineers call it 7 minutes of terror. Traveling at over 12,000 miles per hour, the spacecraft hit Mars' thin atmosphere like a meteorite. Within minutes, it had to slow down to 0 velocity and gently place a 1-ton rover on the surface. The entire sequence was automated. Earth was too far away for real-time control. First, atmospheric friction slowed the craft while heating its protective shield to over 2,300 degrees Fahrenheit. Then, at precisely the right moment, the largest supersonic parachute ever deployed on Mars unfurled. But Mars' thin atmosphere meant parachutes alone weren't enough. In the final moments, rocket engines fired to hover the descent stage 20 meters above the surface. Then, in a maneuver that seemed like science fiction, cables lowered the rover to the ground in what engineers dubbed the sky crane technique. Once touchdown was confirmed, the descent stage flew away to crash at a safe distance. Engineering marvel: the landing was so precise that the rover touched down just 5 meters from its target location in Jezero crater. This wasn't just any rover, it was a mobile laboratory equipped with the most advanced scientific instruments ever sent to another planet. Standing 6 feet tall and weighing over 2,200 pounds, it carried 7 primary instruments designed for one purpose: finding evidence of ancient life. At the top of its mast, a laser-equipped camera could vaporize rocks from a distance, analyzing their chemical composition by studying the light emitted from the plasma. This allowed the rover to survey potential targets without having to drive to each one. The rover's robotic arm stretched 7 feet and carried its own suite of instruments, including microscopic cameras and spectrometers that could examine rocks in extraordinary detail. But the most important tool was its drill, capable of extracting pristine core samples from Martian rocks. Perhaps most remarkably, the rover carried a small device designed to extract oxygen from Mars' carbon dioxide atmosphere, a crucial test for future human missions. If successful, future astronauts might be able to produce their own breathing air and rocket fuel on Mars. Technical specification: the rover's drill can extract cores up to 2.4 inches long and store them in ultra-clean titanium tubes for future return to Earth. Hidden beneath the rover was a technological marvel that would make history: a small helicopter designed to attempt the first powered flight on another planet. Weighing just 4 pounds, this drone faced seemingly impossible odds. Mars' atmosphere is 100 times thinner than Earth's, making it incredibly difficult to generate lift. To compensate, the helicopter's rotors were designed to spin at over 2,400 revolutions per minute, nearly 5 times faster than a typical Earth helicopter. On April 19, 2021, exactly 118 years after the Wright brothers' first flight on Earth, the little helicopter rose 3 meters into the Martian sky and hovered for 39 seconds. It was a moment that redefined what was possible in space exploration. What began as a simple technology demonstration evolved into something far more valuable. The helicopter became the rover scout, flying ahead to identify the safest routes and most interesting scientific targets. It transformed from a 30-day experiment into a mission that lasted nearly 3 years. Historic achievement, the helicopter completed 72 flights, far exceeding its planned 5-flight mission, and covered over 17 kilometers of Martian terrain. The rover's primary mission was to collect rock samples that might contain evidence of ancient life. But Mars had surprises in store. The first drilling attempt seemed perfect, the drill reached its target depth, the sample was processed, and everything appeared successful. Then came the shocking discovery: the sample tube was empty. The Martian rock had been so weathered and crumbly that it simply turned to dust during collection. Engineers had tested the drilling system on over 100 different rock types on Earth, but none had behaved like this. Undeterred, the team identified different rocks that appeared more solid. The second attempt was nerve-wracking: would Mars defeat their carefully planned mission? This time, success. The rover photographed the intact core sample before sealing it in its tube, providing visual confirmation to the anxious team on Earth. But challenges continued. During one sampling operation, small pebbles became lodged in the rover's sample handling system, threatening to end the entire mission. For weeks, engineers devised creative solutions, eventually using the rover's own movement and gravity to dislodge the obstruction. Mission challenge: each sample collection attempt required weeks of planning and analysis, with communication delays of up to 22 minutes between Earth and Mars. The rover's destination, Jezero Crater, was chosen for good reason. Billions of years ago, this 28-mile-wide crater held a lake fed by rivers that carved dramatic deltas into its walls. If life ever existed on Mars, this ancient lake bed was one of the most promising places to find evidence. As the rover explored the crater floor, it made unexpected discoveries. Rather than the sedimentary rocks scientists expected, many samples revealed igneous rocks formed by volcanic activity. This wasn't bad news. It meant the crater had a complex geological history with multiple environments where life might have emerged. The rocks showed clear signs of water interaction. Minerals that only form in the presence of liquid water were abundant, confirming that Jezero Crater had indeed been a habitable environment billions of years ago. The presence of organic molecules in several samples added to the intrigue. Perhaps most exciting were the layered sedimentary rocks found in the ancient river delta. These formations, built up over millions of years, represented a timeline of Mars' environmental changes, a geological library that might contain the fossilized remains of ancient Martian microbes. Key discovery: the rover found evidence of multiple periods when liquid water was present in Jezero Crater, creating potentially habitable conditions for extended periods. The rover's mission represents just the first chapter in humanity's search for life on Mars. The carefully collected samples now wait in sealed tubes on the Martian surface, ready for a future mission to retrieve them and bring them back to Earth. Plans are already underway for the most complex robotic mission ever attempted, a sample return campaign involving multiple spacecraft, international cooperation, and technologies that push the boundaries of what's possible. If successful, these Martian rocks could arrive on Earth by the early 2030s. In Earth's most advanced laboratories, scientists will analyze these samples with instruments far more sophisticated than anything that could be sent to Mars. They'll search for biosignatures, chemical and physical evidence that life once existed on the red planet. The implications are staggering. If we find evidence that life arose independently on Mars, it would suggest that life might be common throughout the universe. We would no longer be alone, even if that life existed billions of years ago. But regardless of what the samples reveal, This mission has already transformed our understanding of Mars and demonstrated humanity's incredible capacity for exploration and discovery. As the rover continues its journey across the ancient lake bed, it carries with it our hopes, our curiosity, and our eternal quest to understand our place in the cosmos. Looking forward, the rover has collected over 20 samples and continues its mission, with each new discovery bringing us closer to answering one of humanity's most profound questions. The search for life on Mars continues, driven by our fundamental need to understand whether we are alone in the universe. Through the eyes of robotic explorers, we've taken the first steps toward answering this ancient question. The red planet holds its secrets closely, but human ingenuity and determination are slowly unlocking them, one rock sample at a time. This is more than just a story about robots and rocks, it's about humanity's greatest adventure, our quest to understand life itself and our place in the cosmic story. Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share it with your friends, leave a comment down below, I'd love to hear your thoughts, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Thanks for the support,